Hi, this is Paul. As you can see from this video, the parking lot is in full swing. And again, thank you for all of you who contributed to this at CRC at livingstonecrc.com/give or .org/give. Each will take you to the online giving website. Your donations have made this possible. And the guys are putting down the asphalt, and the project is underway. So again, thank you all for your donations and for your participation in this. If you want to follow during the day, I'm using the church YouTube channel to live stream it. And Rick is there and Lance is there and people are popping in during the day to check on the progress. And one of the things that we also discovered at the Bridges of Meaning Discord is I'm not going to talk about women, but men love watching other men work. And especially with big equipment and projects like this, it's really going well. Rick is sort of the director on the camera we have here at church, and he's moving it around and following the whole thing. So if you want to follow along, I'll put the links below so you can, if you have an extra screen in your office during the day, you can just keep the thing running. It's sort of fun. There's no sound, there's no audio. Some people have been proposing different background music that they can listen to while the stream is playing, but it's been a lot of fun watching them, watching the process of putting another 2.5 inches of asphalt down on the parking lot. Now, we hired All American Paving to do this, and apparently it's a family business. They've had 5 generations of their family doing paving here in Northern California, and they've been extremely wonderful to work with. That little buggy over to the right that you see, the yellow John Deere, that skid steer, they let us use it, which has been a huge thing. If you look all the way in the back of the parking lot, you see these massive things. Those are the stumps that Roger was able to pull out. Now, we had all of this tree damage in the winter that we've been slowly getting after. I'll show you some pictures of it. So this is what the side of the parking lot looked like. These lovely trees used to be right next to the parking lot, and they were the shade that I would park under. And you can see a little play structure there. Well, the wind blew these things down. There's actually a third tree over to the left. This other tree had fallen a few days before. Now, that person in the foreground is an 89-year-old member of this church who has a little handsaw, and he's been coming out every day. He doesn't use a chainsaw. He just uses that handsaw. He's been coming out every day to start to digest the limbs of these trees and break them down. And actually this Saturday here at Living Stones, we're going to have a work party, and we're going to get a chipper in here, and we're going to start eating away at these trees and chipping them down to chips. So as you can see from this picture, this one massive tree fell into the road, and this power line here, which was here's the bottom of that power line, here's the top of it. It's actually sitting in the road, and this tree fell and took out the fence, and it was a massive tree, and it was rotted to a degree from the inside, and the whole thing came down and took out power for a good mention of the neighborhood. Again, here's the bottom part of the pole, here's the top part of the pole. It was standing in the middle of the road. So this was January when this whole thing, see, there's the bottom half of the post, there's the top half of the post, there's the tree that went down and took everything out. There it is standing in the road, closed down Florin Road, which is a major artery here in Sacramento. And that was a Sunday morning, so we had to cancel church because nobody could actually get to church. There's the church. These 2 other trees are going to have to come down at some point, but this was the tree came down, took out that pole. So we've been sort of slowly recovering from this storm damage since it all happened in January with our little efforts and volunteers coming in and doing a bit at a time. Here's that Sunday morning I came out here, and people were already starting to scooch under the power lines. I think the municipal utility district had turned out here. This guy's thinking about, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to scooch under him, or do I want to take the frontage road? So again, here's the playground area and the trees that just came down. That one tree to the left had come down. This one right here had come down a week before, and then the next week this one and the other 3 came crashing down. The tree blocked Florin Road, as you can see, and so the city came in and chopped up all the tree that was in the road and the sidewalk. Here's some more nice pictures of the masses of the tree, and there's the power pole in the middle of the road. Here's me standing by them to give a little bit of perspective about their size. Yeah, it was pretty big trees. So a local tree trimmer would come by on his afternoons off, and he would start breaking down some of these other trees, and he did it voluntarily. He's done some tree trimming in the past for us. Then even with the fence down, we had someone decide that they wanted to cut through the chain link fence, and then we had a whole rash of burglaries of people going through pretty much empty rooms, discovering there was nothing in them, and leaving a bunch of windows we had to repair. And yet, bit by bit, we kept sort of hacking away at these big trees and cutting them down. And that one 89-year-old would come in and he'd cut the smaller stuff. And when someone was here with a chainsaw, they'd get through some of the bigger stuff. And yet we had this massive thing still over the fence. And so then we kept working on that, and were able to finally pull it out of there with a pickup truck. This is an old pickup truck that Roger bought from Rick. And he had this little crane that he put together on the back. It wasn't up to the task, and so Roger actually broke it and then rebuilt it. Roger's a pretty handy guy, and we were hacking away at the tree. And here's Maury. Just about every day he'd come out there and have his little blue hand saw, and he'd just start working on all the little stuff, and bit by bit these big trees would be reduced sort of to a pile. And then what was really cool is, of course, at the same time we were working on the project on this parking lot, which had pretty much seen the end of its life. And then Monday morning, Roger sends me a text and said, I talked to the contractor and he wants to start right now. Apparently the contractor had the time, so Monday they come here and he brings some of his equipment. You can see Roger's truck back there, and the guy was super generous and basically allowed us to use some of his equipment the day before he got going, which allowed us to actually take care of some of these massive stumps. And so Roger had actually pulled that out and pulled the fencing off, and again, slowly we're digesting this wood, moving the fence around. Slowly, Jared said he wants to build some benches again this Saturday. May 6th, we're going to have a work day here at church. And then yesterday, some of the guys doing the parking lot also helped with getting out some of these massive roots and moving some of the stuff. You can see the roots starting to come together, and that's a lot of the work that Maury had done. We had this all piled up at the end of the parking lot, and we were figuring Saturday we're going to have to all move it by hand to the other part of the parking lot where we're going to do the chipping, but we could use their machinery to do that, so we moved these big things. And here's a couple of the stumps that we put at the end of the parking lot. And then, yesterday we thought we were going to put a clean out in the middle of the parking lot, but discovered that the pipe was not the same size as everything else, and so the plumber actually couldn't do it. And so you can see the chatter about that on yesterday's live stream, and Roger and the guys kept working on the fence. And there's the pipe that we discovered. We were expecting a 4-inch pipe. Instead, we discovered an 8-inch pipe, and they couldn't even find the fittings for an 8-inch pipe. But yeah, there's that one section which is all clean. So basically, we've gone from the picture on the right, you can see me standing by the same area, to having it all leveled off, having the ground all laid out, and have everything pretty much prepped. And here are again some of the massive root balls and stumps that we were able to pull out of the ground with the equipment and the help from the pavers, which is really tremendous. The thing sticking up is an old sewer pipe that was in there that we discovered. Every time we dig here, we discover pipes and all sorts of things that are sort of left underground. someone had asked where the homeless people are with all of this repaving, and they're basically sort of moved over to Florin Road and displaced by it. So right now, well, they just put the slurry seal down, and they're going to start distributing the asphalt. And yeah, things are underway. So I will leave the links below if you want to watch this in real time. If this sort of thing appeals to you, it's kind of cool. We had a death in the church last night, so I'll be working on some of that stuff too with the family. Have to prepare a funeral. We've got the conference coming up in a couple weeks now, so that's getting close. So a lot going on. So yes, again, thank you all who made financial contributions to the parking lot. Every little bit helped. We still have a number of other building projects ahead of us, so if you'd still like to donate to livingstonescrc.com/give, and if you designate building, then the money in fact does go to all of these maintenance projects that just are always underway if you in fact have a building. So thank you for your time and attention.